As they say in PIHL hockey, let's do that PIHL hockey. Hello, good evening, and welcome. I'm Matt Popchock, where we are having fun storming the castle. The Ice Castle in Castle Shannon is our makeshift home once again for Game 2 of our Week 18 doubleheader here on PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10 Band TV, presented by the Mount Washington Shop and Save, as the push for the 2023 Penguins Cup playoffs continues here on 10 Band TV. And now we switch gears to the 3A classification of the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Hockey League, as both these teams are trying to shake off a second half swoon and get back to playing playoff caliber hockey as they see the light at the end of the Fort Pitt Tunnel. It is the Baldwin Highlanders playing host to the North Allegheny Tigers. And for the host Highlanders, who are coming off a 3-2 setback at the hands of Cannon McMillan back on February 2nd, Groundhog Day, they're trying to avoid the feeling of living the motion picture Groundhog Day, which I'm sure they've had to endure of late. A 6-game losing streak for the Highlanders since their overtime victory over Bethel Park that for all intents and purposes is keeping the Highlanders within reach in the AAA playoff picture. Baldwin, with 4 games left in the regular season, including this one tonight. And they're coming in with a team that's been a little bit starved offensively, a minus 16 goal differential during that aforementioned skid, but they've got a couple of PIHL All-Stars leading the charge who have played some very respectable hockey of late. Tanner Plinta, their senior co-captain, just outside the top 10 in Class AAA in points with 7 goals, 12 assists, and 19 points in all. And he has 4 points in his last 3 games played. The X factor offensively for Baldwin could be Cole Reed, their exciting freshman, who's only appeared in 9 games this season but has 7 points in those 9 games. And the last time the Highlanders faced the Tigers, he scored twice in a losing effort, a shootout loss in the St. Margaret's Fall Faceoff in Harmarville back in September, a tournament that was won for the 2nd consecutive year by Andrew Cease's North Allegheny Tigers. Cease coming off an all-star appearance of his own as a head coach in his first year behind the North Allegheny bench, opposing the 60-year man Justin Glock of Baldwin. And Cease has the Tigers playoff bound. They are officially in the playoffs with a record of 10 wins, 4 regulation losses, 2 OT losses, and 1 shootout loss. Good for 23 points on the number 4 spot in PIHL Class AAA. The Highlanders, by the way, 5-10-1 overall. And North Allegheny coming off a 5-2 win over Bethel Park back on January 30th. And Bethel Park currently tied on points with Baldwin for that 8th and final playoff spot in Class AAA. Because Bethel Park is the least penalized team in the classification, they hold the tiebreaker, which is why the Highlanders need a win to get on the right side of the playoff line. And North Allegheny, if they win tonight and win back-to-back games after losing 4 in a row in the month of January, the Tigers will move into a virtual 3-way tie on points with Peters Township and Seneca Valley for the number 2 overall spot in Class AAA. And the Tigers get their offense from their defense, specifically their senior all-star and former PIHL Player of the Month, Trey Gallo. 9 goals, 16 assists, 25 points. Gallo, a hockey player, a lacrosse player, a 4-year varsity hockey player, as a matter of fact. He really does do it all, and he's one of the top defensemen offensively and at his natural position in all of Pennsylvania. And he's got 8 points in his last 5 games. Gallo coming in tied for the number 5 spot in assists in Class AAA and number 8 overall in the Class AAA scoring race. And Gallo also had himself a 2-goal set up his teammate Matt Irvin for a 2-goal game the last time these teams played each other in that St. Margaret's Fall Faceoff. Irvin coming in the team's leading scorer among forwards with 8 goals, 19 assists, and 27 points. And we're just about set to go here. Should be an interesting goaltending matchup as well, as the Iron Man is back between the pipes for the Baldwin Highlanders. Alex Golvash, senior all-star, 2nd in minutes played with 817. 5th in save percentage with an .894 clip. and 9th unofficially in goals against average at .387. And the expected starter for Andrew Cease's North Allegheny Tigers is another senior all-star, Rylan Murphy. And Murphy missed a couple games mid-season, but he's back in the Tigers varsity lineup with a 7-4-1 overall record. He's 5th out of eligible goaltenders on the win column with 7 of those, as I said. 3rd in goals against average with a .256 mark. 4th in save percentage at .903. And he has the 9th most minutes played, in Class AAA at 618. Highlanders decked out in their home whites with the LA Kings-esque purple and dark trim. Tigers in their visiting black, solid black and gold uniforms. Referee Scrates is ready. We hope you are too. And game 2 of our doubleheader is on with the Tigers moving the puck left to right on your TV, computer, or mobile device. Lorenzo Colese gets this puck deep for the Tigers, where it's played by Matt O'Malley, the senior blue liner of Baldwin. And right off the hop, it's fired in toward goal by Evan Barnhart, but it was blocked off before it could make it into goal vash. Brett Baker on his backhand up to center as he bumps Stanek from behind. Stanek up ahead for Tanner Plinta. Plinta splits the double team. Retreating defensively in earnest is Owen Logan, the junior for North Allegheny, as the Highlanders play this puck. Cole Reed on the backhand trying to go down low to Plinta, the Highlander captain. The Tigers get it back to center though, and Brett Baker is content to just get it deep to the corner and make a change on the fly here in the first minute of the first period. Tigers win this puck from the corner. Irvin with it. High slot area. Shot from distance. Glove down. Goal vash. It's loose, and the bouncing puck is cleared by O'Malley. Highlanders come back 2-on-2. Here's Nick Byes over the blue line. Byes beyond the reach of McRae, who goes after the rebound. It's loose in front of Murphy as it pinballs around off his left leg. And the Tigers survive that little fracas. Gallo to his defensive partner, Brock Murphy, as North Allegheny is guilty of icing here. We get our first stoppage, a minute 25 into the game. Highlanders playing in their penultimate home game of the regular season. They've only won once on home ice. That was that aforementioned victory over Bethel Park that went to the sudden victory period. North Allegheny, as I said, a team with whom Baldwin has matched up well in recent memory. And NA, ironically, just kind of an average team on the road. They're 3-3-1-1 overall away from the Barrel Complex. So a chance here tonight for the Highlanders to right a lot of wrongs and get back into the playoff picture. Zofshin gets it deep in on Murphy, who covers for a face-off. Murphy pitched a shutout in the final game of that St. Margaret's Fall face-off against the Armstrong Riverhawks, one of the top teams. In fact, the top team coming into Week 18 in the AA classification. Around the boards it comes after a clean face-off win, by North Allegheny, as Brett Baker is bumped up high by Stanek, gaining the red line and dumping it in deep into Baldwin territory. Cole Reed playing it off the glass. It bounces out in front to the boards. It goes again, where Plinta plucks it off the partition, and Baldwin will send it through center now, and the Highlanders are going to be guilty of icing in the early moments of a scoreless first period. Justin Glock in his 6th year behind that Baldwin bench, the man responsible for ending a title drought of over 30 years for Baldwin in high school hockey. And more on that coming up in a bit. Clean face-off win by the Tigers. Snapshot blocker save made by Alex Golvash. Behind the net it comes to Irvin. Irvin to Cole Bianchin at the point. Bianchin through a crowd, deflected just wide by Luke Walkoskis, the freshman. Walkoskis with 18 points on the season, a fabulous first varsity campaign for him. Irvin for Evan Kerber. In behind the Baldwin net it goes. Going in after it is Walkoskis. Walkoskis for Kerber. Couldn't handle the pass. And Stanek gets it out to center as Baldwin wants to change lines on the go. Golvash settles it down behind his own net, for Dean Reed. Given away to one of the Tigers. Side of the net. Irvin in front. Golvash makes a save. It's loose and pulled out of there by Plinta. Tigers at their own blue line go D to D. Tyler Bianchin trying to go to Gallo. That play broken up, a good read there by Cole Reed, who blew a tire as he was trying to center that puck for Nick Buys. Tigers come through center. And here the other way with a chance in on goal is Bianchin. That's Cole Bianchin, and he's poke checked at the last moment by Golvash. Golden scoring chance there for NA. Penalty coming up on the Tigers. And those offensive zone penalties are never ideal, but the Baldwin Highlanders, in any event, are going to go on the main advantage early in this first period. And it is Cole Bianchin, the senior, getting the gate early here in the opening stanza. Baldwin, a middle-of-the-road team as far as power plays are concerned, 15.3%, good for 6th place in the 11-team AAA classification entering Week 18. But North Allegheny has struggled on the penalty kill. They're dead last at 69%. Dean Reed, top of the right circle for Cole Reed. Up to Dean Reed. Over to Cole Reed now. Dean Reed with it. Near side, Joey Stanek. Stanek, top of the left wing circle. In the corner for Plinta. Plinta dropping for Stanek. Stanek had to reach back for that puck and just kept it in. Dean Reed trying to shoot through a crowd. It's blocked, and here comes Brett Baker, who does have a shorthanded goal this year, content to just get the puck deep with 1:23 to go in the Baldwin power play. Near side for Cole Reed, and the freshman crosses the NA blue line. Owen Logan clears the zone for NA. North Allegheny changing its penalty killers with 1:05 to go in the main advantage for the Highlanders, who are guilty of icing. And speaking of things that'll drive coaches nuts besides offensive zone penalties, icing on a power play. And that's a break for the Tigers with 12:12 to go in a scoreless first. Nate Spack against Levi McRae in the faceoff circle. McRae, the leading goal getter for Baldwin, with an even 10 coming into tonight. McRae with 3 power play goals as well, so NA has another reason to stay out of the box and keep the puck away from him. Nick Buys over the blue line. Buys coming in deep for Baldwin. 40 to go on the Highlanders power play. Resets for Will Dempsey, cross ice. One-time slapper by McRae is denied by Murphy. Oh, that's O'Malley slapping that puck from beyond the right circle. I beg your pardon. O'Malley with it at the edge of the circle now. Down low, kick save Murphy. The rebound is going to be gotten out of there by one of the Tigers who's knocked down. That was Kerber, as this centering pass is knocked aside, but right to Dempsey. Nick Buys with it. Final 15 of the power play. Buys to the corner. Out in front. Oh, a loud kick save made there on Levi McRae as North Allegheny sends it the length of the ice, and that should just about do it. Both teams changing on the fly here as we're back to 5-a-side. 11 minutes to go in a scoreless first period as Baldwin ices this puck. Irvin to take the face-off for North Allegheny to the left of Alex Golvash, but the Baldwin captain Tanner Plinta wins it defensively as it comes up to Nate Buys, who couldn't handle it at center ice. Irvin gains the red line and flips it into the Baldwin zone. Zofchen in front of his own goaltender plays it to his right for Dean Reed, the alternate captain. Tigers send it to the near corner. Golvash lets it go for Zofchen. Zofchen lost it to Cole Bianchin. Centered out in front for Irvin. Irvin snapshot save made. Golvash, he covers the rebound in the blue paint and hangs on for a faceoff. Now let's see if North Allegheny can generate momentum from that successful penalty kill in a scoreless game with under 10.5 to go in the first. They win the face-off. It comes to Tyler Bianchin, whose shot is off the leg of Cole Reed, and it goes wide of the net. Ryan Jackman, under duress, plays it to the corner for Khaleesi. Khaleesi out in front, side of the net. Oh, that was put just wide of Golvash by Jackman. Highlanders come out to center. McCray gains the red line and sends it around the boards. Murphy cuts it off behind his own net. Trey Gallo in flight, playing this puck on one hand up ahead to Khaleesi. Khaleesi way too far for Baker. Zofshin not going to let it go for icing. Instead, he'll reverse the play to Dean Reed. Reed underneath the stick of Cole Reed. And referee Scrate's going to blow his whistle at the other end for an icing call with 9:44 to go in the first. Scrates and Rickard, the USA Hockey crew, sticking around for game number 2 of our Week 18 doubleheader here on PIHL Hockey Night Live, presented by 10-Band TV. Logan through a crowd. Golvash saw it all the way, and he hangs on. Alex Golvash made 50 saves when these teams met in the preseason before succumbing in that shootout. North Allegheny winning that St. Margaret's Fall face-off game by a 5-4 final score back in September. And a steal by the Tigers, and they score! Just play it cool, boy! Cole Bianchin makes it 1-0 NA on a shot that rings off the inside corner of the crossbar and in behind Golvash. The senior with an off-balance snapshot for his 4th goal of the season, and the visitors draw first blood. Plinta catching up with his teammates defensively as North Allegheny deposits this puck deep into Baldwin territory again. Nate Spack trying to outmaneuver Stanek there, nothing doing. To the corner comes for Luke Evans, the PIHL All-Star, as that puck is sticked aside by Golvash. Out in front it comes to Bianchin, and he finds metal but not mesh. Cole Bianchin looking for his 2nd of the night as we have a delayed penalty call coming up. Cease unable to get his extra man on before the whistle blows, but in any event, North Allegheny getting its first power play of the period and game as we approach the midpoint of period 1. And it's Matt O'Malley who will feel shame for 2 minutes and then get free. Cross-checking the indication against the senior defenseman. North Allegheny, the number 2 power play in Class AAA, coming in 28.3%. Against the number 3 penalty kill in the classification, that of the Highlanders, who are successful at an 88% rate entering this contest. Gallo from up high. Right side of Irvin, who fans on the one-timer. Behind the net it comes to North Allegheny. To the point for Walkoskis. Walkoskis for Gallo. Gallo through a crowd, and that was tipped wide of Golvash. Looked like Khaleesi might have gotten a piece of that. Gallo on the off wing through a crowd. In on Golvash, who smothers it. Trey Gallo with 8 assists on power play goals this year. That is by far the most in AAA, and he's so good on the power play at getting that junk through from long range. 1:26 to go in the man advantage for NA, trying to add to a 1-0 lead here with 8 minutes to go in the first. Gallo off the faceoff win, dropping for Bianchin. Walkoskis for Gallo, the NA captain, for Cole Bianchin. Bianchin to the corner for Spack. Now back for Bianchin. Bianchin for Gallo. NA being deliberate on the power play here. Bianchin shooting. Oh, that might have caught a piece of the post as it went wide. Walkoskis from above the right circle for Gallo. Gallo left side for Bianchin. Bianchin for Gallo. Gallo center point. Through a crowd. It's deflected just wide. It's all Tigers here on the power play. 43 to go in the 5-on-4. Gallo for Bianchin. Bianchin shoots. It's deflected off a Baldwin body. I think Zofshin got a piece of that one. Gallo, left side for Bianchin. Bianchin down low to Spack. Spack off of Golvash's goal stick. And finally the Highlanders are able to clear. McRae mercifully gets that puck out of the zone for Baldwin. Last rush of the North Allegheny power play, and here comes Gallo. Gallo, wide of Golvash's glove, and it comes all the way up through center. And that should just about do it as Owen Logan retreats and has some trouble playing this puck and gave it away to Plinta. Plinta at the end of the penalty kill tries to center for Logan Kramer, but it comes right to Jackman instead. Walkoskis over the blue line as we're back to 5 aside. Walkoskis out in front. And it's cleared back to center by Kramer and flagged down by Logan. Gallo still out on the ice here for Andrew Cease. Logan Pack gains the red line and sends it in behind Murphy. He lets it go to Barnhart for Baker. Now to Jackman. Jackman gave it up to one of the Highlanders as it comes near side now for Tanner Plinta. Plinta under some pressure. Up ahead for Stanek. Stanek gets it deep into NA territory with under 6 to go in the period. 1-0 North Allegheny on an even strength goal by Cole Bianchin. Baker toward the official's crease. Baldwin sends it right back in. Owen Logan has to go fetch now. Logan surveys the play and bounces it off the boards. Too strong for Jackman. No icing, officials say, as Dean Reed is bodied from behind by Kerber playing this puck. And it comes loose as a result to Brett Baker. Baker for Matt Irvin. Irvin is worked over by Nick Buys. Irvin couldn't get around Cole Reed. Barnhart retreating on his backhand playing this puck, which eventually finds Kerber. Kerber going in after his own dump in. Dean Reed eludes one of the Tigers, but it's poke checked by Walkoskis. Kick save there by Golvash on the turnaround try by Kerber. And it's given up to Walkoskis. Walkoskis fired it off a Baldwin body. I think O'Malley got in the way of that one. And Baldwin content to ice it with 4:44 to go. Make that 4:43 in period 1. You know, this has been the modus operandi for the Highlanders all season long. Their star goaltender, Alex Golvash, keeping them alive early on and keeping Baldwin within reach. But the Highlanders have to find a way to tilt the ice against this Tigers squad. NA sends it in deep. Dempsey behind his own net for Logan Kramer. Kramer near side for Vince Tortoretti, the senior on now for Justin Glock. Tortoretti appearing in just a handful of varsity games this season as the Highlanders go D to D. Zofchin from his own corner trying to outlet this puck for Ben Kramer, but that went by everybody, and the Highlanders are guilty of icing. It's been a busy year for Justin Glock. He got married early in the regular season and actually missed a couple of games behind the Highlanders bench as he was assisted in the interim by Paul Zumba and Rob Frameri, his assistants for this season. And off the face-off, the Highlanders get it up to the right point. Barnhart unable to get it deep, but North Allegheny still has it. Down low, it comes beyond the reach of Kalezi as he's hit up high by O'Malley. Tigers put it wide to the left of Golvash. And that was Logan driving that puck toward goal. Jackman around the boards for NA. Kalezi anticipates, resets to Logan, or tries to reset to Logan at the left point. It goes underneath his stick, and Barnhart has to hustle back to play this puck defensively for the Tigers. Baldwin has it from the half wall. Out in front, it's knocked aside by Rylan Murphy. Plinta trying to glove it down. He's tied up along the half wall. North Allegheny has it now, and they bring it up to center. Jackman sends it deep. Well, it didn't look like he quite had the red line there, but officials give him the neighborhood call and negate the icing. Final 3 minutes of first period play. North Allegheny with a 1-0 lead. Tigers with it in front of the Baldwin blue line. Behind the Baldwin blue line, I should say, as it's dumped in. Koskis behind the net to Irvin. Irvin, poke check by one of the Highlanders, but he gets it right back. And he sends it in behind the Baldwin net where it's intercepted by O'Malley. O'Malley gave it away to Irvin. And now Nick Bye is going to take matters into his own hands as he comes through center and just gets this puck deep. Off the boards, out in front, nobody there, but Zofshin has it. Zofshin toward the net. Oh, that bouncing puck skittered wide to the right of Murphy. Loose out in front, scooped up immediately by Gallo. Gallo comes roaring through center, 1-on-3. Just too many white and purple shirts in the way of the North Allegheny captain as Dean Reed and Brady Zofshin stayed right with him. And meanwhile, Golvash makes a save in the logo on Cole Bianchin, the lone goal scorer thus far. $1:50 to go in period one. Another faceoff coming up in Baldwin ice. Won by the Tigers. Barnhart above the circle, just wide of the left toe of Golvash. Zofshin off his own bench, up to center for Tanner Matthews. Tigers going D to D. Barnhart gave it up to Matthews. Matthews for Logan Kramer. Now Matthews misplayed it for Bianchin. Bianchin spinorama. Bianchin at the goal. Nifty save by Golvash. That's an eyebrow raiser from Cole Bianchin, but a better save by the Baldwin senior as we get a stoppage in play with 1:16 to go in the first period as the net behind Golvash appears to have come off here. Is that the indication? They're going to say crease violation actually on the Tigers, I think, which is why the faceoff comes outside the Baldwin zone. O'Malley playing this puck from his own boards. Plinta gets there, goes right side to Stanek. Stanek from long range into the glove of Murphy, who hangs on. Highlanders win a faceoff, but can't get it on goal in the final minute of first period play. Lorenzo Calese coming back, drifting to the top of the right circle, deflected on goal, save made Golvash, and the Highlanders are right there for the rebound. Plinta like a madman calling for the puck as Nate Byes was dumped on his backside. North Allegheny in transition. Calese hit up high by O'Malley. Jackman out in front, one-timer by Baker is blocked. Slap shot, score! Give me the gun, Trey! The North Allegheny captain making it happen in the final 30 seconds of the first period. Trey Gallo just pulled the trigger back and put everything he had into that one from the left wing circle for his 10th goal of the season to make it a 2-0 game for the Tigers. And so North Allegheny in command as the final seconds of the first period tick down here at the Ice Castle. Kerber over the blue line. Kerber poke checked at the last moment by Dean Reed. 8 seconds to go in the period. Snapshot from long range. Bouncing puck went wide of Golvash. Nick Byes touches at center and the buzzer sounds. And so we catch our breath here in Castle Shannon, but only for a moment. With a score, North Allegheny Tigers 2, Baldwin Highlanders nothing. I'm Matt Popchock, and you're watching it on PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10-Band TV, presented by the Mount Washington Shop and Save. Now Justin Gluck and the Highlanders find themselves with another hole to climb out of here at the Ice Castle in Castle Shannon. Baldwin trying to snap a skid. NA just trying to play a little bit better hockey as they ramp up for the Penguins Cup playoffs. Andrew Cease on the opposite bench, having relieved the retired Mike Bagnotto at the beginning of this season, barking out some last moment instructions to his team as they switch sides and get ready to begin period 2 here, with North Allegheny leading Baldwin by a score of 2-0. First period tallies by Colby Onshin, his 4th, and Trey Gallo, the North Allegheny captain, his 10th. Well, Baldwin coming in with 42 goals for as a team. So not necessarily a club that's built to play from behind here, but still just one bounce, one shift, one play away from being right back in this hockey game. But any kind of early offense would be optimal for the hosts here as we are back to action. North Allegheny going right back on the attack. Luke Evans behind the net as this puck is pushed wide by Colby Onshin. Nate Spacken battling for it. Dean Reed unable to get it back to center. Spack from behind the goal line goes wide of everybody except Nathan Barnhart. Barnhart putting it off Golvash's skate, I think, and that might have flicked off the side of the net. Owen Logan off the body of Plinton. Plinton tries to get around the last wave. That was Barnhart. He couldn't. Plinton not happy with himself there. Long lead pass. And this one will go for naught. And in fact, it'll go for icing against the Highlanders. So just under a minute into the second period, we have our first stoppage. Now out in the lobby, local hockey historian and author Jeff Morrow hosting a reunion of the Baldwin 1988 Pennsylvania Cup Championship team. And as we have a broken stick off the face-off by Brett Baker. Now before Baldwin's Pennsylvania Cup coronation a couple of years ago, that was the Highlanders' last state championship as they almost had a chance the other way for Cole Reed, but Reed had trouble with the bouncing puck. So the Tigers bring it back to center, and here comes Gallo. Cross ice, snapshot, save, Golvash from point blank on Kalezi. Now Baldwin actually reached the Penguins Cup final in 2020, right before the pandemic hit. Then when the league went back to action that fall and played a full season, the Highlanders returned and won the Penguins Cup championship, then won Pennsylvania Cup gold. Baldwin won the very first Penguins Cup ever, as a matter of fact, back in 1975. So for all the research that Mr. Morrow has done on his book, I'm sure, of which I was leafing through beforehand, I'm sure he's got boxes on that 75 club. Well, the history of high school hockey in Western Pennsylvania going back a lot longer than some might think, well over a half a century. Baldwin, one of the earliest established organized programs to find success in Western PA. Tigers get this puck deep. Here's Gallo off the dump and out in front. It's loose. Golvash swiped at it and was able to knock it out of danger. Golvash leaving this puck behind his own net for his defenseman, Dean Reed. Reed with a long lead pass for Kramer at the blue line as this puck deflects dangerously out of play and over the heads of the Baldwin partisans off to our right. Oh, not time for chuck-a-puck just yet. We're still 8 months and counting from that. North Allegheny with a face-off win. Matt Irvin over the blue line. Dropping for Welkowskis. He was too well marked by Plinta. Logan Pack behind the net. This puck's going to be cut off by one of the Tigers at the half wall. Welkowskis gets it to the point where it's slapped on goal and blockered out of there ferociously by Golvash. Welkowskis has it back out in front. One-timer. Score! .14-10 to go to the ice cut. 3-0 North Allegheny Tigers, and it is Evan Kerber who nuzzles that nylon for the 6th time as a junior. Now the Tigers continuing to smell the blood in the water here at the Ice Castle. A team that, as I said, had that 4-game losing streak that dragged through much of the month of January and just recently got off the schneid with that win over Bethel Park. In doing so, did the Highlanders a sizable favor. But the Tigers, a team that hadn't necessarily been playing its best hockey in the second half of the season, getting off to a great start on the road here and not looking all that eager to take their foot off the pedal. Still a lot of time left, though. 13:35 to go to the ice cut. But the Highlanders, once again, find themselves in a hole. It's 3-0 now on the 6th of the year by Kerber. Back to center it comes, and a chance the other way for the Tigers as Spack is knocked down from behind. And the Tigers score. That's Evans finishing at the other end. His 8th of the season. Black and yellow, black and yellow. That's all we see. North Allegheny opening things up here early in the second period as Luke Evans scores for the 8th time this season. NA fans, I think, wanted a penalty on that play on the 2-on-none breakaway, but the senior making the point moot. Kramer up through center. Logan Kramer, that is. 1-on-4. Just too many black jerseys in the way. Dean Reed getting it deep. Behind the net it comes. Near corner for Logan. Logan near side for Baker. Jackman dumping it in. Tried to set it out in front for Kalezi. That pass didn't connect. Baker retreating now on his own end. Back to center it comes. Up ahead now beyond the reach of Irvin, and Golvash going to cover up. And that's Nate Spack's first assist of his senior season. Had a huge goal for North Allegheny in a game earlier this season against Peters Township to force overtime. North Allegheny was leading that game 2-0, then saw the Indians rally late before tying it. Peters Township winning it in the final seconds of the sudden victory period. Now, during that 4-game losing streak of North Allegheny's, 3 of those games were decided by 1 goal, and 2 of them, including that Peters Township game, were overtime losses. Turnaround try, and Matt Irvin politely reminds us that mercy does not exist in this dojo. The top scoring forward, not to be confused with top scoring defenseman Gallo, makes it 5-0 Tigers with just under 12 to go to the ice cut. And that'll be Irvin's 9th of the campaign. And for Alex Golvash, that will be all, it appears. There will be a new Baldwin netminder with 11:56 to go in the second period. Golvash, oh, this is a story from a Highlander point of view. He's played every minute of every varsity game this season for Baldwin, as this shot by Gallo from long range is denied by the newcomer, whom we'll positively identify as soon as we possibly can here. Tigers back on the attack as Logan Kramer sends it back to center. Matt Irvin under duress, sets up Kerber. O'Malley on his backhand. Near corner for Dean Reed. Reed Murphy dumping this puck through center as North Allegheny flips it right back up in the air towards center. And now Tyler Bianchin has to retreat to play it behind his own goal. Gallo from the corner underneath the referee's skates up to center for Cole Bianchin. Bianchin had the first of the 5 North Allegheny goals on the night. Centers it for Spack. Spack couldn't get a clean shot on net there. Logan cross ice. One-timer went wide of the goal by Bianchin. Luke Wokoskis gets his 19th point of the season on the assist on the Irvin tally. And what a freshman year he continues to have. Andrew Cease changing on the fly here with 10:20 to go in the second. His team leading comfortably. Near corner it comes. And this puck bouncing up into the stands right in front of us. Face-off coming back into Baldwin territory. And that face-off is going to be won by the Highlanders and sent back into North Allegheny ice. Owen Logan, retreating to play it for the Tigers. Long outlet pass for Jackman near side. Sends it in behind the Baldwin net. Kalezi withstanding the body check. Gets it to Baker. Baker with a little spin move in the right circle. Now pulls it to the point for Barnhart, who shoots it from distance, and that's denied. Baldwin gets it back to center now. And a high stick on the puck is called against the Tigers. With 9:26 to go to the ice cut. And it is Austin Landowski who is the new man between the pipes for the Baldwin Highlanders. Landowski making his 2022-2023 debut, and again, it begins with 11:56 to go in the second period. From the corner it comes. And sent in deep by North Allegheny. Covering is Landowski at his left. Face off in Baldwin ice with just over 9 to go in the second period. Tigers opening up a 5-0 lead here on the road with 4 in the second period. Excuse me, 3 in the second period. Kerber, Evans, and Irvin adding to first period goals by Cole Bianchin and team captain Trey Gallo. In behind the net it goes to Logan Pack. Pack for Plinta. Outlet for Stanek. Up ahead to Kramer. Kramer from the edge of the right circle for Plinta. Stanek unable to locate that puck at his feet. Tigers unable to clear. Give away to Stanek. Stanek unable to hook up with one of his line mates as North Allegheny brings it back to center. Brett Baker around a man. Baker to the goal. Baker scores. And with 8:19 to go in the second, North Allegheny makes it 6-0 on the 6th goal of the regular season by senior Brett Baker. So now the backup Landowski, who stopped the first 6 shots he faced, unofficially has been welcomed to the party. Near side it comes. Dempsey from the point. Score! Make that donut disappear, Will Dempsey. And the Highlanders make it a 6-1 game as the senior celebrates his first of the varsity campaign, and that puck from the right point had eyes. Murphy never saw it, and so Baldwin is on the board with 8:04 to play in the second period. That one just sort of floated in on goal, and hit that upper left corner. Murphy has to pick up his goaltender stick to play this puck as it comes near side of Walkoskis, who couldn't handle. Dempsey from the right point. Couldn't get it deep. Walkoskis was cutting him off. Highlanders from their own blue line get it back to center. Nick Buys into North Allegheny territory. And Buys under pressure, has it for Baldwin. Buys toward goal. Murphy with a kick save. McCray back to Cole Reed. To the corner it comes for Logan. Walkoskis trying to get it back to center. And with help from Kerber, he does. Nick Buys gets it deep as the Highlanders tag up and change lines on the fly with just over 7 minutes to play in the second period. Walkoskis letting this go the length of the ice, no icing. Near side Stanek. Stanek flipping it up into the stands and out of play.
Brett Baker, assisted by number 10, Declan Davey, tying that goal 8:19 of the second period. That's 14 from 10. Newton's scored 8:19.
Junior defenseman Declan Davey credited with the only assist on Brett Baker's goal. And so for Dady, that's his first point of the 22-23 campaign. Nick Buys, you just heard, setting up the goal by Will Dempsey. So Buys has 5 assists now on the season. As Logan Kramer tries to bring it around Nate Spack. To the corner it comes for Plinta. Plinta bouncing this puck up to Dean Reed at the left point. Reed from his knees getting this puck to the corner for Joey Stanek. Now that's not Stanek, that's Kramer, I beg your pardon. In any event, the Tigers get it up through center, and Bianchin tries to center it for Gallo. Gallo too well covered by Zofchin. Highlanders battling in the corner of their own zone for this puck. Out in front it comes, put wide of the goal on the backdoor play by Jackman. Up to Gallo it comes. Gallo for Bianchin. Bianchin out in front, was ridden off that puck at the last moment, it looked like, by Dean Reed. And the Highlanders come to center 2-on-2. Stanek, just gets this puck deep, and Plinta over the Highlander bench with Stanek will come off for a line change. Gallo near side. Up for Jackman. Jackman one touching for Dempsey. Gave it right to Dempsey. He was trying to go to Khaleesi, I believe, on that play. Khaleesi dropping it to the corner for Baker. Out in front it comes to Jackman, who was too well covered by two Highlanders. And Baldwin comes back 3 men strong. Highlanders just barely onside as they score! Cole Reed, just his second goal of the season. It's the second goal of the game for the Highlanders, who make it a 6-2 game with 4:51 to go to the ice cut. Now, when you get in these games that can get out of hand, sometimes you don't play with the same sense of urgency that you normally would in a tighter game. It's human nature, and so the Tigers seeing the tide turn in the opposite direction a little bit ever since Justin Glock decided enough was enough for Alex Golvash. Highlanders outscoring the Tigers 2-1 since the goalie change. And a chance the other way for Plinta. Plinta pivoting. Oh, couldn't reach back for that puck. Evan Kaminsky trying to clear the zone. He can't. Waiting at the point was Dean Reed to send it to the corner. Plinta at the half wall. Well, Baldwin feels like they've got a little momentum now. 4 minutes left in the period. A 4-goal game as North Allegheny comes to center. Sam Irvin poke checked at center ice. Kaminsky overskated. And O'Malley couldn't take it the other way. Now he will for Baldwin. O'Malley puts it wide of Murphy. Not sure if the senior got a piece of that one or not. North Allegheny having some trouble with its breakouts here as this puck comes through center. And it's not quite going to go far enough for icing. But Dean Reed will send it long for McRae. McRae on the fly. McRae toward the goal. Good poke check there by Gallo, who cleans up that little mess. Here comes Irvin 1-on-2. Irvin left circle off the blocker of Landowski. Nick Buys behind the net. Buys ducking around to check as the Highlanders get it back to center. Levi McRae dropping for Cole Reed. It's underneath the stick of the freshman and sent the other way for Welkoskis. Welkoskis couldn't handle it. O'Malley takes it back for Baldwin. Brock Murphy with the keep at the right point. To the corner for Welkoskis. Welkoskis goes down to his knees to play this puck. Swiped at by Irvin. Gallo retreating in the final 2:45 of the period. McRae near side. Gave it right to Welkoskis. Welkoskis to Gallo. Gallo to the goal. Save made Landowski, but he pokes in the rebound. Thank you, Trey Gallo. May I have another? And NA gets one back. Gallo averaging over 2 points a game over his last 5 PIHL games, and he has a pair of goals tonight here to make it a 7-2 affair with 2:22 to go in period 2. A giveaway to the Highlanders. Here's Stanek. Stanek shooting off of Gallo's body. Talk about right place, right time. Baker roaring through center. Tries to split the defense. He can't. And the Highlanders try to get their transition game going. Plinta poke checked at center ice, getting this puck deep. And from a bad angle, he fires it on Murphy, who makes the save from his knees. Baker centers for Khaleesi. Khaleesi from the top of the right circle. Stick save, Landowski. Jackman from the corner. Barnhart for Jackman. Good keep at the blue line there by Barnhart for Logan. Logan through traffic. St. Maid Landowski, the rebound is pushed aside by Dempsey. Logan keeps it in at the left point. To the half wall for Jackman. Up top for Barnhart. Barnhart, this shot deflected wide by Khaleesi. And Khaleesi wants to come off here late in the period. Slapper, that went off the body of Plinta, and he's going to be feeling that one in the morning. Bodies collide at the far boards in the final 45 seconds of second period play. Owen Logan, what a shift here for the Tigers. Just have the Highlanders all bottled up as it's blasted wide by Irvin. And Irvin upset with himself that he couldn't hit that target from long range. And off the face-off, the Tigers keep it in at the right point. Gallo into the glove of Landowski. And now you got to watch out for something we've seen in this building before, a defenseman hat trick. Something of a rarity at any level of hockey. Saw one in this building earlier this season, Brian Spencer of Thomas Jefferson. Their team wears black and gold too. What are the odds? Final half minute of the period. And a good save here by Landowski through heavy traffic as he denies Irvin one more time. Clean face-off win by the Tigers. Gallo just barely keeps it in the zone. Goes right side. And toward goal, it's Bianchin firing it on Landowski, and Landowski holds on again. 12.3 ticks to talk before the ice cut. Seven seconds left. Gallo with it. Edge of the right circle. Couldn't outmaneuver McCray, as it looks like time's going to run out here on a very, very busy second period in Castle Shannon, Pennsylvania. So we cut the ice trackside at the Ice Castle, and we'll let you hear some music from the 4-1-2. But first, we'll tell you that your score through 2 periods of play is the North Allegheny Tigers 7 and the Baldwin Highlanders 2. I'm Matt Popchock, and you're watching it on PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10-Band TV, presented by the Mount Washington Shop and Save.
I've been around a time or two. I've been around and round with you. You don't like the way I carry myself, woman. Maybe it's time for you to choose. You tell me that I'm drinking.
Ah, look at him, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, climbing his way through the corporate rat race. We've all been there, focused on that next raise, promotion, chocolate bar. Keeping an eye on your health can be exhausting. Weight Loss Direct is a personalized wellness and weight loss program. You utilize an AI algorithm to determine your specific foods and match you with a real-life coach and an easy-to-follow meal plan so you could stay on track to success and health. Check out weightlossdirect.com to learn more.
All across the United States, each state has what's called an immunization information system. Immunization information systems, or IIS, are confidential, population-based, computerized databases that record all immunization doses administered by participating providers to persons residing within a given geopolitical area. In the United States, every vaccination registry is a bit different, which can become daunting and confusing. Enter PubHub. PubHub solves this issue by giving its providers the ability to connect and communicate to the state registry with one connection and one data format. For example, if a patient has received the COVID-19 vaccine, PubHub allows the provider to see if the patient has already received the vaccine, keeping everything safe and organized for everyone.
I've been around a time or two. I've been around and round with you. You don't like the way I carry myself, woman. Maybe it's time for you to choose. You tell me that I'm drinking.
Ah, look at him, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, climbing his way through the corporate rat race. We've all been there, focused on that next raise, promotion, chocolate bar. Keeping an eye on your health can be exhausting. Weight Loss Direct is a personalized wellness and weight loss program. You utilize an AI algorithm to determine your specific foods and match you with a real-life coach and an easy-to-follow meal plan so you could stay on track to success and health. Check out weightlossdirect.com to learn more.
And special thanks to local band Dinner Bell Road for that music you heard during the ice cut. And you can hear more from Dinner Bell Road, and other great local bands by logging on to musicfromthe412.com or downloading the Music from the 412 app to your Roku or Amazon Fire capable device. And shots on goal through 2 periods of play here in Game 2 of our Week 18 doubleheader on PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10-Band TV. North Allegheny through 2 periods with 37 shots. Baldwin through 2 periods with 12 shots. And it is the Tigers with a commanding 7-2 lead over the Highlanders here in enemy territory. Matt Popchock back with you trackside at the Ice Castle in Castle Shannon, where I just love walking past that Croatian flag hanging in the lobby that the owner and operator, Ralph Murovich, put up there some time ago. Makes me feel right at home. And we've been spending a good bit of time in this building, and we'll be spending even more. I personally am off tomorrow night, but I will be back on PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10-Band TV this approaching Thursday, February 9th, for another PIHL Hockey Night Live doubleheader, as the Highlanders play host to the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils in the early game. And in the nightcap, we have a Peters Hockey TV simulcast with our friends from Peters Township as the state champs visit the Upper St. Clair Panthers in a pivotal Class AAA contest, and that's getting underway just after 9 p.m. on Thursday night. Tomorrow night, it'll be senior night for the Peters Township Indians, and a very exciting game for them against one of the league's more improved teams this season, the Cathedral Prep Ramblers. And Matt Geitka is going to have all the senior night festivities for you starting at 6:30. Puck drop is at 7, but we've got a special early start time to cover the senior night hoopla, so tune in early for that as Matt Geitka will guide you through it. Peters Township Senior Night coming up tomorrow night on 10-Band TV, simulcast on Peters Hockey TV. And shout out again to local hockey historian and author Jeff Morrow for hosting the 35th anniversary reunion of that Baldwin State Championship team, and also a 40th anniversary reunion of Bishop Canavan's first state championship team earlier this evening. Saw those folks holding court with one another out in the lobby earlier tonight. Bishop Canavan, another storied program that you saw in action earlier on PIHL Hockey Night Live here on 10-Band TV, and you can watch that game and all our games on demand on the brand new 10-Band TV website, and as always through your Roku or Amazon Fire capable devices. Delayed penalty begins the third period. Extra attacker comes on for North Allegheny. It's not going to matter as the Tigers actually ice this puck on the attempted zone entry, but they will get a power play just 24 seconds into the third period and a chance to extend their lead, which did stand at 6 at one point before the Highlanders got on the board. In the first period for North Allegheny, as a matter of fact. It was Colby Onshin getting us started, 7:42 into the game, set up by Spack and Evans. And with 30 seconds to go in the period, as we've got another penalty coming up against the Highlanders, the extra man on for Aeneas Kerber is deflected toward Landowski and touched up by Dean Reed. And North Allegheny is going to get a two-man advantage for 1:38 seconds. So some salt in the proverbial wound here to begin the final frame for the hosts, as cross-checking is the indication against O'Malley. Tanner Plinta picked up the initial penalty, by the way. And a face-off won cleanly by the Tigers. Gallo and his mates working 5-on-3 from the sideline, that it's put wide by Spack, who has a couple of assists in this game. And I'll continue with that scoring summary as soon as I am able to, as the Tigers are back on the attack, and they score on the two-man advantage. Colby Onchen, his second of the game, to make it 8-2 with 15:50 to go in the third period and 1:37 to go in the now conventional power play for North Allegheny. Now continuing with the scoring summary, which just got a hair longer. In the second period, 2 minutes, 50 seconds in, it was Evan Kerber scoring, set up by Luke Wilkoskis and Matt Irvin to make it 3-0 Tigers. 50 seconds later, Evans from Spack and Colby Onchen to make it 4-0. And then a minute 24 after that, Matt Irvin from Kerber and Wilkoskis to make it 5-0, at which point Golvash, the original Baldwin netminder, was yanked. And for the first time this season, Golvash replaced by Austin Landowski, the Baldwin backup, and Landowski scored upon 8:41 into the period by Brett Baker, assisted by Declan Dady. And the Tigers have scored again on the power play. And Evan Kerber has his second of the night. So a Tiger trio, Gallo, Colby Onchen, and Evan Kerber, each with 2 goals in this game. And North Allegheny makes it a 9-2 advantage over Baldwin with still 15:33 to go in what now becomes a running clock third period per PIHL protocol. Plinta from distance fires wide of the North Allegheny net. Turnaround try by Plinta is blocked down low by Barnhart. And that shot from the boards blocked by Dempsey as the Tigers get it back to center. Ben Kramer hobbling a bit as he comes back to the Highlander bench. So the Tigers end up scoring on both power plays to bring the PIHL mercy roll into effect here early in the third period. And from the boards, Jackman concedes possession to Cole Reed. And it was Cole Reed that had the second Baldwin goal, which was scored 12:09 into the second period, preceded by Will Dempsey's goal, assisted by Nick Buys, which came 15 seconds after Brett Baker's goal. That made it 6-0. Trey Gallo got his second of the night, 14:32 into the second period from Wilkoskis. Wilkoskis with 3 assists on the evening coming into period 3. And moments ago, you just saw Colby Onchen and Evan Kerber each score in the 2-man power play for North Allegheny, 17 seconds apart, no assists given. So that is where we stand right now. Onchen and Kerber each with 3-point games, ditto Wilkoskis. Luke Evans with 1 and 1. Trey Gallo, as I said, with a pair of goals. Gallo, 10 points in his last 5 games, as he continues his swan song in most stylistic fashion for the North Allegheny Tigers. What a year the captain has had for Andrew Cease's team. And here come the Highlanders with a possible odd man rush the other way as Murphy makes a save from his knees on McRae. Wilkoskis reversing the play as it comes up now to Gallo. Gallo near side for Kerber. Kerber trying to cut toward goal, but lost the puck. Back it comes to Nick Buys. And far corner it comes to Gallo. Up for Jackman. Jackman through center for Kalezi. Kalezi wide of the Baldwin net. And North Allegheny came in a high-scoring bunch, 74 goals as a team. That was the third most. in Class AAA. 34 of those came in the third period. They lead the classification, actually, in third period goals, and they've got 2 vis-a-vis the power play here tonight. And traditionally, the Tigers are a team that has won championships with team defense and not necessarily high-flying offense, but they're a very balanced team and a lot of different players contributing to the attack for North Allegheny tonight. And their offense is, and has been, if nothing else, very, very consistent. So North Allegheny maybe a little bit underrated, quite frankly, as an offensive team as they ramp up toward the Penguins Cup playoffs. And next up, North Allegheny will be visiting, well, technically visiting Seneca Valley as they both play at the Barrel Complex, but for the league's purposes, Seneca Valley will be the home team for that game, and that's coming up on Monday the 13th next week. And then for their last regular season game, as we get a stoppage with 11:10 to go, and of course I say stoppage loosely because we're in running clock protocol. The regular season finale, to finish my thought for the North Allegheny Tigers, will be against these Highlanders at the Barrel Complex coming up in the last week of February. Baldwin, their remaining schedule, again, they are home to Mount Lebanon this Thursday in a game you can watch on PIHL Hockey Night Live, as the Tigers have scored again. And at the side of the net, it is Luke Evans scoring his second of the game and 9th of the season, and that'll make it a 10-2 hockey game with 10:35 to play. And after that Mount Lebanon game, as I said, the Highlanders will finish with a couple of road games, or games in which they are the designated road team, as they are against USC, Upper St. Clair, in their next to last game here at the Ice Castle, and then that aforementioned season finale at North Allegheny at the Barrel Complex at the end of February. So time ticking away on the playoff hopes for the Highlanders, who are trying to stockpile points any way they can, and not going to be able to do that tonight here as they trail by a wide margin with 9:35 to go on a running third period clock. In the Class AAA playoff picture, Pittsburgh Central Catholic coming into Week 18 as the #1 overall seed. And Central Catholic, Peters Township, Seneca Valley, and of course North Allegheny are all officially in. We knew that much coming into this week as we get a whistle here. And the interesting thing about Class AAA is that, mathematically speaking, none of the 11 teams have been eliminated. Technically, every team still in it in the last month of regular season play, which is, now in high school sports, it's the way it should be. You know, every team should feel like they have a chance to get in, and once you get in, all bets are off. That's what playoff hockey is all about. Buys with a hit up high on Declan Dady, as Andrew Cease is going to presumably be a little bit more liberal with his bench here, with the midway point of the third period having come and gone, and the conclusion being foregone as Shearer, the varsity move up, sends it deep. Knocked aside by Landowski. Nate Buys trying to play that puck from his wallet as the teams are in a tight battle in the far corner. Now, as a coach, if you're Justin Glock, this is what you want to see. You want to see who's still battling and who's still working in a lopsided game as Logan Pack shoots that from distance. Good blocker save there from Rylan Murphy. You're going to have nights like this, and when those nights happen, you want to see what you have to work with. As Landowski makes a save at the side of the net on a pretty little play out in front by Khaleesi, who just couldn't quite finish it off. So to continue my thoughts on the Class AAA playoff picture, again, Central Catholic, Peters Township, Seneca Valley, and North Allegheny are the teams that are in definitively. Coming into this week, the scenarios were Cathedral Prep, Upper St. Clair, and Pine Richland were capable of clinching by earning a single point or with losses by both Baldwin and Bethel Park. So for Cathedral Prep, Upper St. Clair, and Pine Richland, you can look at this game and say, well, mission half accomplished at least, as those teams still need a little bit more scoreboard help to clinch. And Bethel Park, again, coming in tied with the Highlanders on points for that last playoff spot, and each team won an overtime game to split the regular season series, but because the Blackhawks are the less penalized of the two teams, that is the next tiebreaker. Bethel Park holds that last spot. And so Baldwin will leave tonight needing help, And at the bottom of the standings, it's Cannon McMillan, I beg your pardon, and Mount Lebanon needing help from a variety of places as well. Final 5:20 of play here on a running third period clock as Cole Reed has a chance the other way for the Highlanders. Reed cutting the goal, couldn't fire it off. He was ridden all the way by Barnhart. Evans with a stick check there by Zofson. Out in front it comes, backhanded toward Landowski, who makes a save, couldn't control the rebound, which comes near point to Barnhart. Barnhart wide of the net through traffic. Logan to the half wall. Kerber and Plinta fighting for this puck. And a penalty coming up on the Tigers with 4:40 to go. So the Highlanders will have a chance to do some work on the power play here in the final moments of regulation, as one of the Highlanders took a hard hit in the corner. And you just hope things don't get any more out of hand than they are on the scoreboard, as emotions are going to be what they're going to be in a lopsided game. Now the NA penalty kill, perfect thus far in this game, so that's a feather in their caps. And a little bit of an oddity here as Owen Logan is assessed a 3-minute penalty, which, if memory serves, is the norm when an official was encountered with a running clock situation. Been a while since we've had a running clock game. In fact, this is our first all season. And you make it to the first week of February without having one, you should feel pretty good about yourselves. A pretty exciting contest in Division II earlier tonight in this building as Bishop Canavan and Deer Lakes went at it for the top spot in the gold division of the co-op classification. Great crowd for that one as well. And do yourself a favor and watch that one back on 10-band TV as this puck is bounced out in front. They were trying to set up Zofshin on the doorstep of Murphy, but NA had it well played. And toward the goal, the Tigers come with a chance shorthanded as Landowski makes a couple of nice stick saves there with 1:45 to go in the Baldwin power play. And we get another whistle here as the clock winds under 3 minutes in Mercy Rule territory here in the third period. And special thanks to our sponsor, Mount Washington Shop and Save, for presenting tonight's PIHL Hockey Night Live doubleheader. And if you're in the Mount Washington area, say hi to Jim and Michelle Kazarowski, who are going to be minding the store, or so I hope. Otherwise, I'm going to look like a complete fool if they're not there. They'll be there. At some point, they will be there. I can promise that. Cole Reed over the line, trying to drop it for Stanek. Stanek down low to Reed. Reed to Plinta below the North Allegheny goal line. Plinta surveys the play. Now drifts to the corner and sends it up top to Stanek. Stanek is stick checked by Kalezi, and Kalezi is just going to get it the length of the ice, or nearly the length anyway, and kill off some more penalty time here with about half a minute to go in the Baldwin power play. Final 2 minutes of regulation time here as the Tigers will improve to 11-4 with 3 regulation ties. And North Allegheny will move into a virtual 3-way tie on points with Peters Township and Seneca Valley for that number 2 spot. North Allegheny cannot own the tiebreaker over Peters Township. We know that much since the Indians won the regular season series. But still a chance for the Tigers to affect the top of those playoff standings and hopefully for their sake earn a home ice advantage in the first round. We're back to 5-a-side here in the final 70 seconds of play. Tigers get it back inside the Baldwin blue line as Dean Reed retreats. And Baldwin will fall to 5-11 with 1 regulation tie. As Stanek went down there in NA territory. Somebody broke a stick as Brock Murphy just shoved the broken part of the stick toward his own bench. And again, the Highlanders back in action later this week on 10-Band TV here at the Ice Castle against the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils. Should be a fascinating best of the rest South Hills rivalry game. North Allegheny with a big one coming up at the Barrel Complex against Seneca Valley next Monday. The Raiders, the team that knocked them out of last year's playoffs and beat them before the holiday break back in December. Good save there by Landowski. The rebound is again denied by Landowski as he is run into by Baker, and that'll do it. Special thanks, Michael Lyman, camera operator, Todd Kazarowski, executive producer, and to you for watching and listening. Our PIHL Hockey Night Live doubleheader on 10-Band TV. Again, the push for the 2023 Penguins Cup playoffs continues tomorrow night from Peters Township Senior Night beginning at 6:30 with puck drop at 7 at Princegate Arena as the state champion Indians take on the Cathedral Prep Ramblers. Final score tonight here from the Ice Castle in Castle Shannon, Pennsylvania. The North Allegheny Tigers 10, the Baldwin Highlanders 2. I'm Matt Popchock saying good night from the South Hills. And you've been watching it all on PIHL Hockey Night Live on 10-Band TV, presented by the Mount Washington Shop and Save.